Hi there, my name is Ron Rogers, and I'm going to tell you about taking first-timers up on aerobatic rides. I've done a lot of this over a good number of years. Actually, I started when I started my aerobatic school called Air Capital Aerobatics, called Air Capital because I started it back in the early 80s in Wichita, Kansas, using citabras and decathlons. And of course, Wichita is the Air Capital. That's their little moniker they like. Although I misspelled capital, but I've just kept it. It's nothing else. It's unique. But anyway, I've got some interesting observations on taking people, first timers, for aerobatic rides. Now I'm taking Michelle up for her very first aerobatic ride. What I did not realize, and I kind of thought, well, it could be very well her first biplane ride and her first open cockpit aircraft ride. You notice she's looking at the camera. She's in marketing for our local theater group. Both her and her husband, who are friends of ours, are actors, so she knows to stare at the camera. But anyway, I digress there. But anyway, I was taking her up for her first time, and like I said, I figured first time biplane, first time open cockpit. I did not realize it was her first time little airplane adventure. She had never been up in anything smaller than an airliner and probably never got on any airplane that she didn't walk down a jet bridge. So this was a new experience, and I had some kind of keys to this, so we say. Now, the one thing that's interesting, and I don't mean this to be sexist or anything, but it kind of comes across that way because I find that women tend to enjoy aerobatics more than guys, and I don't know why. They tend to be much more vocal about it. I think it was only my daughter who was kind of she's a little bit apprehensive. Guys seem to have more difficult time with it. I don't know if it's they feel they have to be macho and they can't admit that they're a little scared or whatever, but I get more kind of apprehension from the guys. Now here we are on the runway. We're going down, and you get the tail up right away in the biplane, so you can see what you're doing over the nose. And it lifts off about 55. And what I like to do, kind of as the demo flight here, is keep it just right above the runway, let it accelerate. It comes off 55 to 65. It flies very well in ground effect, low altitude, and it just accelerates nicely. And I'll hit a little bit over 100 miles per hour at the end of the runway. Then I like to do a nice little pull-up. I'll get an instantaneous climb rate of about 3,000 feet per minute, which is kind of cool. And the passengers seem to enjoy that. And you can see the runway there. We just departed off in the background, and we head out west to my little practice area that I have designated out here. But like I said, it's kind of interesting. The guys seem to be more apprehensive, and I took her husband up, and he didn't enjoy it quite as much. In fact, there came a point where he said, yeah, we've seen enough. So I should have gotten an indication here in the first clearing turn, because she kind of, I could tell that she thought that was pretty exciting. So here I'm setting up in the loop, 120 miles per hour. It's a 3G pull, checking the wingtips, make sure they're equal there. And I like to do 2 loops in a row. You kind of float it over the top here, so it's a little more circular. You don't want to pinch it. And she's enjoying it. Pull right back into the next loop. Same thing here, float it a little bit on the top. Now start back in with the G, and you come back. You hit 120 miles per hour at the bottom, 3G, and that's right into a nice, smooth aileron roll. Okay, drop the nose, get your airspeed back, looking for 125. And now I pull up into Immelman. This is probably my favorite aerobatic maneuver. It's just a lot of fun. You go straight up till you just about run out of airspeed, and you kick the rudder, in this case left. It's easier to do them to the left and use the opposite aileron so you don't go over on the back. Little vertical line, get your entry airspeed, pull right up into another one. Now when I taught this in a citabra decathlon, you needed a lot more control input to keep it going off over on its back, and for the rudder input. This airplane, the Great Lakes, has just so much control authority that I was over controlling it first. I've got about 700 hours of tail dragger time teaching aerobatics in the Citabron decathlon. Mostly I taught aerobatics with some patterns and stuff. Clearing turn, and now we're setting up for the Immelman. Max Immelman, World War I ace, developed this as a way to kind of fool people. They think they're following on a loop, and all of a sudden he does a roll on the top and they go flying on by, and then he gets on their tail and then right into a split S, 65 knots entry airspeed, roll it on over. And because you're slow, by the time you get the roll, you're almost vertical, and then pull on out and recover from that maneuver. So that was a nice little general introduction there to aerobatics for Michelle, and she enjoyed it quite a bit and didn't get airsick in the least. So we're coming back into Crystal Lake, and we're going to do just a little sightseeing for fun, especially fun because she had not been in a little airplane over Crystal Lake. I didn't realize she hadn't been in a little airplane at all, but she hadn't been one over Crystal Lake, and that's Crystal Lake there. We're coming down across it, and I actually live north is to the left, and I live about the middle of the lake on the north shore up there. It's a real nice lake. It's Crystal Lake. It's not the one in the horror movie one, no. And it is a good lake. It's not a great lake. A little bit of humor there, very little, I know, but it's a lot of fun. It's surrounded all the way around houses. It is open to people in the city. Got a lot of good boating activity, kayaking activity. I have a pontoon boat. You're seeing right on the nose, that's Main Beach down there, and every Tuesday during the summer they'll have a concert. So we take our boats and we plant it on the beach there, and I've got a little grill on my pontoon boat, and we have adult beverages, and I grill burgers, brats, whatevers, and we talk, listen to the band in the background, and just have a good time every Tuesday night. Now we're coming into the city area of Crystal Lake, and I'm going to do a little flight over her house down here, just so she can see what her house looks like from the air. And then we're going to go over town and go around the theater down there, the Rouse Center. But we're going over the little strip mall down there that's on Highway 14, which runs through town. And it was just an absolutely beautiful day. And of course, the nice thing about the Great Lakes, and there's Crystal Lake in the background, now you can see it. The nice thing about the Great Lakes biplane with all that wing area and the slow speeds, it's really nice for sightseeing. Of course, you got a wing on above you and below you, which restricts visibility a little bit. It's the worst of both worlds. They talk about the disadvantages of high wing or low wing aircraft. Well, this has both, but it does have a very nice turn rate, and of course you see the camera looking down the flying wires there. They kind of glinted. And there's Central High School down there, and they live just south of that, so we're doing a little tour around that so she can see her house. And it's just a stone's throw from the downtown area, which is going by the tail there. So we come on around back, and we'll fly over that. But just an absolute beautiful day for flying, as you can see, with the nice blue sky and the pretty colors. And the GoPro camera works really well, bringing in just really nice high resolution pictures. I've had to fight a battery overheating problem on my GoPro 9, but I've kind of solved that by using actually a remote battery. That's what I'm going to do in the future, because I would do these flights, and after 45 minutes the camera would shut off due to overheating. Even out on the wing with the airflow, it would get too warm. So I finally figured out that I could solve that problem by just not using the internal battery and using an external one. And down there, right above my head there, is the downtown area, and you can't really see it unless you really know what you're looking for. But that's the Rouse Center down there, and we participate in that. We're sponsors and really enjoy it, the productions, the people, the staff, everything. That's why these people are our friends, and taking up in a ride. Okay, enough of that. Enough of the city. We're coming in back into land at the Lake in the Hills Airport. Unfortunately, I've got the pattern to myself, which is nice. I don't have to worry about the students doing their just god-awful 2-mile patterns that get so ridiculous. It's like, can you even see the runway from where you are? Okay, enough of that diatribe. You've probably heard that several times on my videos, but we enter the traffic pattern. And just another gorgeous day. There's the runway to our left there, kind of blocked by the fuselage right now. And we've got the little perimeter highway there. And South High School actually is off the nose here. It's off the end of the runway. And yep, there's the water treatment plant. You can't see South High School. We're in the final turn here. Since I've got it to myself, I like to do it like I did in the Air Force, just one continuous final turn. Of course, with the position in the cockpit, I can easily look and make sure final is clear so I don't run into anybody. And try not to hit the CVS pharmacy off the end of the runway. We got a little wetlands down there. You can see the shadow of the biplane coming up. And we're coming in for a landing on the runway, and of course, it wasn't too bad of a landing, but being a first-timer, she thought it was great, so I always appreciate that. You notice the rudder movement there, keeping the airplane going straight. Whenever you fly a conventional gear aircraft tail dragger, it takes a lot of little rudder input to make sure the nose keeps going perfectly straight. So we exit the runway. Doesn't take much distance at all to land these. They have very great short field performance. And I'm clearing the runway back at my home airport. And now I help her out.
Stand up.
Both wearing leather jackets because it's November. And she obviously had fun.
Wow, that was amazing.
You like that?
Her husband, who saw her off, didn't stick around. He went to work, so he wasn't there to make sure I brought his wife back alive. So I hope you enjoyed first time aerobatics. Thanks for watching.